Well, actually, he does not have detection. If they can chain stun this guy down, it would be a really big save for them, but Orange is going to push forward. He's trying to take out Move. Great Ice Path as well, and another Telekinesis throws him down together. He's going to go down, respawn. Here comes the 7v5, or so to speak. Mushi running for his life is going to end up surviving, and now the right click from the Nature's Prophet. The MKB gives him a lot of bonus damage here. Hao's going to go down. Sansheng wants to get out. King
and is
Jae
Extinct
well.
going to live?
Great stun. Neo X escapes, and Orange wins a team fight. 3 dead heroes on Tongfu. There's the vacuum back. Banana started the game off so well, and 4 dead heroes for Tongfu. Man, that team fight worked out for them. I mean, Alchemist popped his BKB too early, in my opinion, and they still ended up stomping it. It helps to have the Aegis, of course. Nature's Prophet goes down. Good game is called, and wow, it's a 2-0. Orange takes it 2-0 versus Tongfu. I really didn't expect this to happen here. I did call a 1-1, but I mean, Orange really pulling themselves together. The first game they did the old split push strategy. It worked very well. They've proven that many times tonight. This game was a lot crazier. Just imagine how this game started, guys. Remember that we had an 0-4 Alchemist. He was roaming around the map, trying to gank other side lanes. I did not predict this happening. I thought this was mostly over. I mean, maybe Tongfu was too cocky to do aggressive ganks and things like that. But I mean, the Jakiro was so far ahead. I thought for sure that they were going to be able to snowball this one, but they just didn't get the subsequent team fights. They didn't go in their favor. I mean, Orange kept being able to initiate on Tongfu. Tongfu stopped getting the setups after their early gank stuff, so really, really impressive from Orange to be able to actually win this one, but it did turn out for them, so that was pretty cool to see. We'll see the game end in just a second, guys. We can check out the scoreboard. This is day 1 of Group B for the Alienware Cup, of course. Orange improves to 2-0 in Group B with the win, where Tongfu falls to 0-2. So not the best start for Tongfu, but they're definitely a very capable team. I'm sure that they can pull back. Just a little bit of issues with mid-game decision-making, I guess, or something like that. But Orange was able to outfarm them in the long run and overall take the second game. So pretty impressive to see. I want to know what you guys have to say over at the desk. LD, Blitz, take it away.
Well, we'll wait. Well, we won't wait for the scoreboard here. That's okay, though. Maybe we'll show it afterwards. But I felt like that was 3 games in one Blitz. You have the early game, right, where Orange Esports were, you remember, if you can go back to the laning stage, there was that regenerate top. Crystal Maiden goes in to deny it. You like that pretty much be an asshole play. Then she dies. Then Mushi goes in, dies as well. Then Prophet teleports in, dies as well. They were leading 1-0 at that point. They end up down 1-3, and then the Banana show. That was sort of the second phase of the game, where Banana was 5-1-8. I think they had like maybe 20 kills, was completely out of his mind, playing like a boss. Then there was like that third phase of the game, where Orange was just farming, getting up their big items, stalling the game out, split pushing, being obnoxious, and then you get to the late game. And at that point, they had the Aegis advantage. They had a really strong team fight, and they just kind of outlasted Tongfu.
Yeah, it just looked like Tongfu was too content with just getting kills and not a whole lot else. They were like, well, we're quite ahead in kills right now. Mushi doesn't really have a whole lot. Right. We can kind of play this game a little more passively. We don't really have to take towers, but I think that was the wrong way of thinking about it. I think once you have a level advantage and a hero, like an overall gold advantage, despite not taking any towers, that's when you want to get into these fights where you can push Mushi out, force him to just farm somewhere else. Because Mushi, for the most part, just kind of rotated in and out of mid, got essentially free farm after he died a few times. I think they thought, well, Mushi's so crippled, we don't really have to deal with him anymore. And then from there, that was the makings of the Orange comeback.
It all kind of unraveled from there for Tongfu. And I mean, end of the day, like you said, I think they were just a little bit too complacent. They had this lead. I felt they could have pushed it more. They had such a good 5-man lineup, but just kind of content to sit back and farm. They didn't really starve Orange, and this is where having Alchemist Prophet really comes into play. Such a good lineup to just farm the map, spread the map, and it was also a greedy 4-core lineup for Orange. We don't actually see them run this kind of a draft very often. It's something more that we see from Zenith, Dignitas, teams that will go for an extra farmer. We don't normally see Orange do that. It was something different for them. We saw early on Net on the Darks here, wanted to get involved maybe a bit too much, wasn't really getting the levels and farm he needed, but the game dragged on to the point where then he could, and then he had a huge impact.
Yeah, and KYXY absolutely dominating that top lane. King Jae was just dying, feeding left and right, giving up a tower, 2 towers really quickly, and then just from there, being able to actually have such a big impact on the game. And King Jae You normally see a life stealer do a little bit better than that, but he was just dying left and right, and it just looked like Rubik was never able to get his feet on the ground, whereas Extinct, he died so many times, but there's not a whole lot you can do as a Crystal Maiden once you have a 950 range X initiate. So she was going to die every time, but she was still really effective. She never really gave up. She was never like, well, I'm just going to be the feed machine. A lot of clutch frostbites, good Novas overall. Just seemed like she had more of an impact on the game overall.
It's pretty crazy for a game to go, what was that, like 40-plus minutes at least, and Crystal Maiden, it felt like she was doing just more than the Rubik.
Yeah, exactly.
Rubik at that point should be your playmaker, and
what was
Crystal Maiden should really fall
at
off.
that point? It didn't really feel like he was having any sort of impact on that game. Whereas once the BKB started going down, Extinct seemed to have a really big impact on the game itself.
I guess, truth be told, there weren't that many great spells to steal. Alchemist spells aren't that great. Crystal Maidens are okay. Prophet's not really, doesn't have, I guess Teleport could be nice, but end of the day, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just felt like Orange Esports, this is kind of a turning point in it's like a new chapter for them where we've seen Mushi on the carry role. They've been switching a lot to the player roles, which is, well, that's one thing, but it seems like they're learning how to win games when they go later, and they're also just kind of learning how to grind games out, where this is normally a team that when they win, they just snowball, and they just end the game really early. They've never felt like a team to me that can make epic comebacks or claw their way to victory against the top Chinese teams, but they do it here, and it's exciting as the International 3 draws closer. We're seeing Orange Esports continue to evolve.
Yeah, that really just looked like the first game we saw a really methodical pace be set out, where Mushi didn't come to fights, and then this one was where they tried to go into the flat-out ganking game, and they weren't at an advantage at any point until they ended up winning.
Until they were.
But it just seemed like it was a well-rounded. Overall, I like games like that because it shows how well a team really does.
It's like a full test.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Well, great performance from RG Esports. They're going to finish this series off 2-0, so they're now 3-1 in the group. We actually take a quick look at those group standings, then we're going to cut to a break before, I think, the highlight match that everyone's really excited for. So it's Orange now 3-1. Tongfu, they start off 0-2, but it's only their first match. No matter what, all teams do advance to the playoffs. All teams will start in the winner's bracket. It's all about that one position, though. Na'Vi yet to play a game. IG, the other team yet to play a game. They're going to be coming up next. IG versus Zenith. Whew, I'm excited.
Yes, as am I.
Best of two. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll intro that match, guys, and then we'll get underway. IG versus Zenith. It'll be a final match of the evening, of the day, depending on where in the world you are. For the Alienware Cup Group B, our inaugural day of action. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time for more Alienware Cup action. I'm LD. I'm joined here by Blitz, and we're going to get ready to introduce the upcoming match, which will be Invictus Gaming IG versus Zenith. Are you excited?
I'm very excited for this game. This is kind of both teams.
Talk to me about it.
We'll see how they're going to do. IG especially. Sometimes they look. I mean, obviously they won the international. They're the defending champions.
Yeah,
but
they have their resume's all right.
yeah. The last time I saw them play, though, I actually haven't caught any of their D2SL games, Dota Super League thing in
Yeah, they're Super League matches.
But from what I saw at the G1 League LAN finals, it didn't look too good. Everything kind of looked shaky. Even dropping a game to Team Liquid,
yeah,
a team that also looked kind of shaky. But I mean, we'll see. This is kind of their start the comeback tour early.
Yeah, it's. Are they that aging band that has nothing left, or are they the Rolling Stones who are just still
timeless?
Yeah, timeless. We're gonna find out for IG over the next few months, and this is one of their last big events before the International 3. The Dota 2 Super League, they got knocked out by LGD International, so they're done there. Are there any other? I'm trying to remember. Are there any? There's the Red Bull ECL LAN finals, which we'll see them at. But I think this is pretty much the last major LAN event that we have or not LAN event, but tournament that we have for IG coming up before the international. So a lot at stake here for them. It's good training, it's good practice, and well, hopefully we get some fantastic games. And with that, I'm getting the cue. It's time to introduce IG, your defending International 2 champions, your G1 League Season 2 third place or fourth place team, I should say. No, G1 League Season 2. No, G League Season 2 first. God damn it. They won your G League Season 2. They came in fourth place at the G1 League Season 4 LAN finals. They fell short in the G1 League Season 5. They've generally been winning most of the tournaments they attend. And Joe, the carry player, normally is not given a whole lot of help. They put this guy on an island. They'll give him a solo matchup. They won't usually pull him. He's left to his own devices.
Yeah, and he actually flourishes for the most part, but lately the style just hasn't been really working for them, so I'm willing to see if they switched it up at all.
430, of course, your solo mid, the pianist as he's known, Templar Assassin. Could really put 3 of those here because he plays a mean one. We'll see if they bust it out. I mean, I feel like it's sort of like with Orange, where maybe you just need to put him on a high-impact hero to get his head back in the game, to get this team off on the right foot and get the ball rolling.
Yeah, it just feels like for the most part they've been playing a little bit sluggishly, and it all starts with Ferrari.
Yeah, of course, YYF, living legend, really is. A lot of people call him the best Dota player in the world. At least we're saying that after the International 2, after the G League LAN finals. But, well, they haven't had the results lately, so if he's the best player in the world, then he's got to step it up.
Yeah.
Chuan, if you haven't seen the basketball video, you should go watch it right now. Chuan is your older brother.
Kevin just looked at me and he's looking back at the Chuan photo to find similarities, and it's the funniest thing right now. But yeah, a lot of respect for that guy. Growing up under him, he was a good guy.
He's a good teacher. Molded you into the Dota player you are today, of course. And he's the 4-position player for IG, one of the most explosive support players in the world. Faith, your 5-position player, a more cerebral type than most of the other players on this team.
Yeah, fantastic player. When I see him play Leshrac, I never see him miss stuns. Even if it's him going in solo and having to set it up by himself, he's so stable. I mean, I just feel like right now the team has just kind of hit a wall. Their individual skill is still there, but the magic seems to be a bit missing. But still, yeah, not a team to mess with.
Is it the version? Hard to say. You look at them, we've docked them points for drafting, execution, and team fight, but you can't really dock them team skill, experience, or game sense. That's sort of, it's there. They have the experience, they have the skill. Obviously, they know the game really well, but as a team and just the final product we're seeing isn't there. Like, they're putting in some fantastic ingredients. The pizza that's coming out of the oven is subpar.
Yeah, maybe
this is not Papa John's quality.
Dude, I don't like Papa John's. So at the LAN finals we saw them, they played really piss poor for the most part, but I really think that they have all the necessary components to succeed as a team. So maybe that was actually a good thing for them. Like, oh, well, we lost where we're strong at a LAN, and maybe this is our turn to kind of show that we're not really out of the game yet.
We've introduced IG. We've talked a lot about them in the recent struggles. Let's talk about their opposition. It'll be Zenith, the Malaysian-Singaporean mix, spearheaded by Yamate, the carry player at 1 position, legendary member of Orange Esports for a long time. He's been around the block, and, well, he's parted ways with his old compatriot Mushi, who has currently been very successful. They're 1-1 in the group right now, and That's Yamate, the 2
My
position.
God.
It's XY. It's the Tinker. Will it slip through? Do you want to give this hero away to him? Well, they opted to ignore it in Game 2 in that series. They had the option to take it. They didn't, but I feel it's a very strong choice. Ice, Ice, Ice. Master Troll. Admin when he wants to be. He put himself into the administrator role in the previous series. Started taking the liberty of docking Orange draft time. Our admin's not honoring his decisions, but he did it anyway. X-Freedom. Support player. Jungler. And partial Pinoy as well. And last but not least, and he's very proud of his Pinoy heritage, by the way. So Pinoy pride from him. Last but not least, Ice. Your 4th Ice on this team.
Yeah, and this entire lineup looks quite good. Pull up the hexagons right here. See them again. And actually, this time they're updated. Experience is a 10. Game sense is an 8. Drafting's an 8. Player skill, a 9, which I think is very rightful for them. And where they lack things are the team fight and the execution, which I think kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, these haven't been updated after the last series. I feel like sometimes they're a 9 or a 10 on execution team fight. Other games, I feel like they're a 5. So it's hard to tell which Zenith is going to show up. They do kind of give you that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde feel.
Yeah, sometimes they're really on par for their game, and it just seems as though at other times they can struggle quite a bit. But for the most part, the things that make them a great team, like player skill, they're still there. The experience is there as well. They have a bunch of experienced players. I mean, Yamate's been around forever.
And I guess the question is, which Zenith is going to show up in this series? And will that same Zenith show up for both games? Is it going to be the Zenith that drafts lineups that don't really work, a Sand King, Treant Protector, offensive tri-lane with those 2 heroes as the supports, or are we going to see the Zenith that gets the XY Tinker, the off-lane Darkseer for Ice, 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 a clearly well-thought-out, well-executed strategy with the Gyrocopters, the carry, normal supports? We'll have to wait to find out. With all that being said, guys, the draft is underway, so we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll be live with IG versus Zenith Game 1.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Purge and LD. We're going to be covering Zenith versus IG. Should be an epic match. I cannot wait to see if IG has improved in the last couple weeks since the last line they're at.
Really exciting. You have Zenith, who is one of the hardest to predict teams in the Asian scene. I mean, up there, if not on top of Rattlesnake, in terms of unusual drafts, different style, very hard team to play against. It's almost like you have your game plan for most teams, then you have your game plan for Zenith. And then on the other side, you have IG. They've struggled as of late, but it's an exciting matchup.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely stomped TI2, played really effective. They've been really rusty, and we've seen some weird tweets coming out of various people, but reports of roster issues, hopefully that isn't the case, because they can't switch. They've got to stick with this till August. Can they do well? Let's hop into the game, guys. We've been into the draft for a bit here. Invictus Gaming going to start off with not only a Visage, which isn't that weird, but surprisingly a Spectre. Spectre has been a carry that has been played a moderate amount by players or teams like Alliance, for example. Alliance has been drafting Spectre a lot. I've seen Dignitas play the hero as well, so kind of cool to see Invictus drafted up.
Yeah, IG, I like the Spectre pick a lot, and if they can combine it with the Darkseer, it would be perfect, but of course they banned Darkseer, so it won't be there. I mean, that's the combo that we've seen is really devastating, because you get Spectre, the hero he has a bit of a hard time farming, but if you give him Ion Shell early, he's just so good at finding kills in the team fights. It won't be there.
Yeah.
It's still a strong combo, though, and the nice thing about picking up Visage here is Spectre's not a strong laning hero, but Visage is so good in the laning stage with Soul Assumption that he kind of makes up for the Spectre's weaknesses.
Yeah, the chase is really fun to watch. And a hero that actually hasn't been made it into any games tonight, both Nyx Assassin and Shadow Demon. A lot of the teams have been first round banning the Shadow Demon. Nyx Assassin hasn't squeaked in either, so Zenith says, okay, those are the 2 supports that we're snagging. And they could actually play either of those as solos if they really want to.
Yeah, a lot of options here for them, and, well, the bans continue to come out. I noticed Zenith are actually the ones to ban the Tinker. Interesting that they're not going for it. I feel like it would have been a pretty solid choice. But up against Spectre, I guess it's a little bit dangerous. They'll go Storm instead. No Lifestealer combo, but a very gank-heavy lineup for Zenith, and they'll want to hit level 6 as quickly as possible. That's when they get access to Vendetta. That's when they get access to Ball Lightning. So for Zenith, not the strongest laning stage, but their mid-game gank is very scary.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially if they go for something like an Orchid, which might actually be necessary against a Spectre, because any ganks on him, if you don't chain stun the guy, he's going to ulti and he's going to reality somewhere else on the map, and good luck keeping him down in that case. So if they do go for something like an Orchid, can silence him during the burst damage and possibly score that kill.
Where will Zenith go from here? They've got their supports. Now we'll have to see what hero Yamate is going to play. And then I imagine Ice Ice Ice's off-lane hero. Darkseer banned out by IG, so obviously that won't be available to him. He's played Bounty Hunter in the past. The one issue if you go Bounty Hunter is it further weakens your 5v5, which is already not that strong. You're up against Spectre and Visage. Those heroes do really well in the medium to larger size clashes. Rubik can be a complete nuisance if he steals certain spells like Vendetta or the Impale for Nyx. So we'll see if they go Bounty Hunter, but no, they pick up a Prophet instead. That'll be their offlaner. So Ice 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 Prophet could start in the jungle here, but up against the Spectre Visage, it's not really the best killing lane, so potentially he can just look to disrupt the pulls. And you look at IG, Visage and Rubik as supports. This is where maybe we see kind of that Ohio-style Prophet, just blocking all the creep camps like RNG Sports like to do, delay the level 6 for Visage and Rubik, and put a lot of pressure on that lane, and then catch up later in the jungle. Yeah,
and on top of that, with Nature's Prophet and Storm Spirit, we're talking about a mostly global lineup, and they can do scouting with Nyx Assassin, for example. So they can have Nyx Assassin and Viz running through the jungle, TP and Nature's Prophet, or just use the gank. And if Storm Spirit's in the general area, Ball Lightning into gank as well. So I kind of like what Zenith is working with right now. Their disables are a little lacking because they're reliant almost entirely on the Nyx Assassin Impale for stuns, but past that problem, I think they can have some really great ganking in the mid-game.
I love this pickup of the Puck, because Puck synergizes so well with Spectre in team fights. You drop the Dream Coil, heroes, they want to get away from you, but they can't. And this is where Spectre, the illusions get to hit you a few extra times. So if you combine Haunt with a well-timed, well-placed Dream Coil, you can do a lot of work. And it looks like it's going to be a 430 Puck. I have not seen him play this hero in a long time. It'll be Puck versus Storm mid. And it's a matchup where Puck can dominate the Storm Spirit, especially at the early levels. You can phase shift dodge most of the overload attacks if you time it well, which is most of where the Storm's early harass on you is, because you're never going to be in range of Remnant. So it's a matchup that I think 430 could dominate if he plays it right, and potentially snowball, buy his Spectre time and space to get the levels and farm he needs.
Yeah, whenever I play that matchup, Puck versus Storm, it's a little frustrating because you can dodge the right clicks, which you're expecting Overload to proc, but if it doesn't actually connect, it doesn't proc Overload, as far as I'm aware. So he could just hit you with it right afterwards and take the bonus damage, or you can just bait him out and say, okay, whatever, I'll dodge this until you're ready to last hit. Then you last hit, your Overload's gone. But even still, Puck is a lot more mobile than Storm. The silence is also quite annoying, so if any gank comes as well, Storm Spirit much easier to gank pre-6, and with a Rubik as well as a Visage, this is entirely likely.
The other nice thing about the Puck here is you look at Zenith's lineup, all 4 heroes really need to be able to cast spells. Every single one of them is very reliant on it. Storm, Prophet in particular, are very vulnerable to getting silenced, and then Spectre haunts in, maybe Rubik smoked and heading that direction, or the Familiars are there, because of course they can just be hunting all over the map, and then you get blown up. So for Zenith, neither their last hero. It looks like it's going to be the carry hero for Yamate. Gyrocopter's in the pool. That's been one of their go-tos. If they want more of a team fighting carry, that would be an option. Luna, if they want to push more, is a possibility. I think, or even, well, he doesn't really play much lone. He doesn't really play lone druid, so we'll see. I think either Gyro or Luna is a likely choice, though.
Yeah, the Zenith is mostly focusing on banning out heroes that completely counter Storm Spirit, so they're going to remove the Doom, and they actually grab an OD. Not a bad choice. Again, bonus damage against illusions, so Spectre is going to be popping ultis. Mantis style is something that we'll probably see in Spectre's future this game, so being able to shut those down is useful. Yeah. OD has great lane control as well. Storm Spirit, do you think it's going to be an OD mid? I would say OD has better lane against Puck.
It looks like they don't want the Storm versus Puck matchup, which I agree with. I think it's a matchup that Puck has the advantage in, but it looks like they want to put Storm safe lane, and then OD can go mid. And OD, intelligence hero, or up against an intelligence hero, and Puck pretty much dominates every single hero in the game 1v1. And you look at IG, Rubik, Visage, these heroes cannot gank you. They can go in, they just don't have enough damage at the early levels. Maybe from levels 3 to 5 if they get a lucky rune. If the OD is really overextended, they could potentially find a kill, but most likely it'll be a true 1v1, which is where OD excels. So I really like this pick, and it's going to make the laning stage now much harder for IG. Originally they looked at this draft and probably thought, we get a Puck first Storm mid, we can win that matchup, but now the tables have turned, and it's going to be a very tough lane for them to handle.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out for them. If it is the Storm Spirit in the safe lane, he's going to be matched up against YYF's Windrunner, and he's going to have support with Shadow Demon and support Nyx Assassin, both really scary for Windrunner, especially you wait till she wind runs, you pop the disruption, if you can get it ranged for disables. It's usually a dead, squishy, low HP Windrunner hero, so might be a little scary for IG, but there is their draft coming out. 6th, it's apparently Chuan, I guess. Unless that is actually a stand-in, I don't believe that's actually.
Yeah, no, it should be Chuan. I can actually double check and look at his profile, but
go for it.
While we're doing that, I'm a little bit worried about IG's laning stage with the OD pick. I feel like it just throws a wrench into their plans because I feel a lot of their lineup was built around, well, two things. One is getting the early levels in their tri-lane, especially on Visage and Rubik. Again, 2 heroes that really need level 6. Other thing is 430 is supposed to be able to beat Storm mid, but I don't think he's going to get that matchup. Zenith have not picked their heroes yet. We may see some swapping shenanigans even after they pick them here, so keep an eye out for that, guys. But we look towards the mid game for Zenith, and they have a Storm, a Nyx, and a Prophet. And they're up against, I would say 3, maybe 4 heroes that if they get caught by a stun are food. Puck, elusive, but if you catch him, they have enough chain stun to blow him up with the Nyx and Storm combo. Obviously, Rubik, Visage vulnerable to that, and same too for the Windrunner. So IG, if they fall behind, it's going to be very hard to deal with Zenith in the mid game. Uh-oh.
That sounds like a terrible
Ice is really living in the toilet, his mind as well as his team, every time we catch